All right, welcome to Yin Yoga, and we're going to start with the hamstrings as our base today. So find a comfortable position with the legs extended, and by a comfortable position, a position where you can feel stable and upright, so you're not straining. One way to do that is to take a towel or a blanket, tri-fold it, so it becomes like a little round pillow, and sit on the edge of that. So it tilts the pelvis forward and extend the legs. So leg extension is something we usually don't hold for any long period of time. We might feel it a little bit when we run, come into triple extension. When we bicycle and the seat is high. But normally the legs are bent at the knees and the hamstring is constantly contracted. So as you sit there, find that slight forward tilt on the pelvis by coming towards the edge of your roll so that you can sit upright with legs extended. And we'll do an experiment here. Let's grab a couple of blocks and a strap. And we're going to start with the blocks on their highest setting underneath the knees. So there's the blocks under the knees, legs extended. So the hamstring is slightly shortened. Curl the toes back so you get that extension through the calf muscle. And then hinge forward for a moment, reaching towards the toes. Start to feel as you hinge forward, sensation comes into the low back, the glutes, and the hamstrings. Keep the toes curled back. Now your hands might only be as far as the knees. They might be at the shins. They might be at the toes. Another alternative is to grab a strap and bring them around the feet and hold the strap so that you can pull on the strap and release, creating a slight pulsing motion. And our knees are chopped up and supported by blocks at this stage. So you've got a semi-bent extension here. But as you pull, you feel that move into the hamstring. Find your position here for 1 minute and focus on your breathing. And try to keep the shoulders as relaxed as possible. Every now and then you might deepen the forward bend. But let that be a natural invitation rather than forcing. I want you to remain somewhat comfortable in the forward bend. Fifteen more seconds here. Keep the toes curled back. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come up and take the blocks and rotate them to their lowest level underneath the knees. So the knees are still supported by the blocks, but now you're on a lower setting. Drive out through the heel bones, toes curled back. with or without a strap, start to hinge forward. And you might notice that the range of motion forward is less when there's less support behind the knees. We'll be here for one more minute. Allowing the upper body to relax. And every now and then, noticing if you can melt forward a little more. Let it be a melting rather than a forcing. Keep the breath smooth. Keep breathing in through the nose. Remind yourself to relax the upper body, the shoulders, the neck. 5 more seconds here. And then slowly walk the hands up. And this time remove the blocks completely. So you're coming into that full extension. No support behind the knees. And then grab your strap. And notice once again that the range of motion hinging forward should be less. Now I know some people's genetics allows them to come with their head down to the shin and their hands to wrap around the outside of the feet. If you're one of those people, you can always take the block at the bottom of the foot and wrap your hands around the block to give you a little more forward fold. Keep the toes curled back as we stay here for one more minute. And using that minute to breathe smoothly, slowly, relaxing the upper body every time you remember. And melting forward into the stretch rather than forcing. Try to find that delicious point of stretch, not overdoing it. And noticing the connection between the hamstring, the glutes, the low back, that's all above the knee, and also the relationship between the hamstring and the calf muscle stretch as you curl the toes back and slowly release. Come into an upright position, palms face up, resting the back of the hands on the thighs. Just noticing what the forward bend has done to the back of the legs. And to give the hamstrings a break, we're going to bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet together. Knees out. I'm going to recommend you start with blocks underneath the thighs. And maintain that forward hinge by sitting in a way where the thighs are supported, but you can feel the stretch and opening through the inner thighs. And as you hinge forward, you can feel that sensation increase in the beginning of butterfly, try to keep the spine long. So rather than rounding by dipping the head, keep the shoulder blades slightly squeezed together as you hinge forward. If it's too much for your thighs, bring the blocks in closer to reduce the strain on the groin area. Settle into butterfly with the breath and relax shoulders. Keep the chin away from the chest. Draw the shoulders back just a little bit. There's a tendency that they'll hunch forward. And then notice, can you hinge further forward? And if you feel a lot of resistance from the blocks, take them out a little bit. So you have this gradual supported opening of the hips. Now for the last minute of practice, start to drop the head down and round the back, unless you've been told not to round the back. Round the back, dropping the chin to the chest. And let the weight of the head traction out the back of the neck. If that means you can move the blocks out further, do so. Slow, rhythmic, nasal breathing. Now use the hands by pushing into the feet or the shins to lift the torso up slowly, gently. And hold butterfly with an upright posture, long spine, shoulders back, palms face up on the thighs or knees. And then prepare for shoelace pose. So with shoelace, you can sit a little taller if that's helpful. You can sit on the blocks. If you feel comfortable staying on your blanket, you can. If you want to sit directly on the floor, you can. So let's start by bringing that right foot underneath you so that the right foot is on the left side of the body, the pinky toe side grounded, and you can rub your knuckles into the arch. Just rub your knuckles into that arch. Now this is a good opportunity to see if your seat is high enough. If this is too difficult, sit a little higher. And check that out. Usually the higher we sit up, the easier this becomes. And then we're going to try and take that left foot over to the left thigh and work it back, assist with the hand, trying to bring the knees on top of each other. So you've got that left knee on top of the right knee, And let's give that left foot a bit of a rub with the knuckle there, just to see if you can access the arch. So there's a slight rotation in the foot. There's a stretch in the ankle joint, which accesses the arch, and we're just giving the fascia in the bottom of the foot a little bit of stimulation and hydration here. Now check to see if you can find good posture. Long spine, shoulders back and down, and the head over the shoulders. If you cannot find good posture, you might have to sit a little taller. And patiently waiting here in this position for those tight upper outer thigh muscles that tie into the hips to relax. At a certain point, experiment with the intensity here by simply hinging forward, just a micro hinge forward, so your weight leans forward and you feel that extra stretch on the external thigh into the hip. And then come back. So we'll create a little dynamic movement here rather than static. Keep the shoulders relaxed as you slightly hinge forward and come back. In a certain way, just exploring the territory of extra intensity. Are we ready for it or not? Now, if the sense of tolerance is yes, I'm ready, you might even bring your hands gently down to the ground onto fingertips or blocks in front of you. So you sustain that forward tilt. Otherwise, come back to neutral or continue swaying. And from this new vantage point, you might consider bending the elbows and drooping down a little lower. Just noticing how that feels. So a little bit more dynamic exploration here. What's my body tolerating? Even though it's uncomfortable, is it tolerable? Maybe enjoyable for some. And then hold a little lower if that's available to you. Otherwise, stay where you are. And then start to gently nod the head down towards the knee and back up. So a little dynamic exploration here, rounding the back, bringing the weight even more into the thigh. And if that's comfortable, leave the head down, head towards knee, And then the final stage will be walking the hands out and back, out and back, shifting the weight even deeper into that stretch. If holding the hands out is tolerable, hold out, keep the head lowered. 5 more breaths here if you can. Use the hands to lift you up. Hands walk back. They take the weight. The arms take the weight as the torso lifts up. Lean back and extend your legs gradually, gently. Toes curl back. Maybe with eyes closed here and squeezing the shoulder blades to open the chest. Just marinate in the sensations you feel. The sensations of release. Give the breath time to slow down. Keep the breath in and out of the nose. And let each new breath become a little deeper without speeding up. And let's try the other side. Now the other side is going to be asymmetrical. In other words, it's going to feel different, usually, for most people. So you might need to adjust the height of your seat. Some of you will bring that seat down lower. Some will keep it the same. Some will lift up a little higher. So this side might be different. Let's massage the 2 arches simultaneously with the knuckles. Just give those arches a rub. And that also demonstrates the rotation of the foot. How turned is the foot. Trying to get that pinky toe down as much as we can. And then find your posture, this time grabbing the feet and the toes and squeezing them as you bring the shoulders back and sit up tall. Keep the long spine, shoulders back, shoulder blades down. Just noticing the left outer hip, left outer thigh. As you begin to sway gently forward and backward, exploring what's the range of motion like on this side. Sway from the hip rather than the neck, so the head stays stable. Good. Find your tolerance point here, just that point of overload where you feel the stretch is pushing into discomfort, and pause there. avoid pain, so we're not looking for the painful point here. And this is where you can allow the melting to take over rather than the swaying or the forcing, relaxing into the melt. Check in with the breath that it's not labored. If the breath is labored, there's a good chance you're a little bit too deep into the pose. And let's bring the hands forward again onto fingertips. So the center of gravity shifts further forward. If that's too much, bring them back. Hands can be on blocks as well. And then we simply relax the elbows, and as we do, the hinge drops further forward. And as you straighten the elbows, the torso comes back. So you feel that extra depth simply from the elbow bend and straightening. Find the bend in your elbow once again that's deliciously uncomfortable. And then you can start the head nods. So as you drop the chin towards the chest, you feel the traction in the back of the neck. If the head dangling down feels good, hold it there. Check in the upper body and shoulders can relax. And then try the arm extensions. Reach out and back a few times. As you reach out, more intensity. As you come back, less intensity. Hold out as far as the intensity is right for you. For 3 more breaths. Walk the hands back, let the arms straighten to lift you up. Come up gradually. And slowly unpack the legs, extend in front, lengthening the hamstring once again. And lean back. Squeeze the shoulder blades, open the chest. Maybe lift the chin this time. Whew. And then straddle the legs. Bend the right knee and bring that foot in against the thigh. Hinge forward onto your seat. Adjust your seat if you need to. Remember, we're looking for that seat where you feel naturally hinged forward a little bit without strain on the low back. Strap is a nice tool here. You can strap that foot, and we might start with a little bit of stimulation to the base of the foot by flossing the base of the foot. Just rubbing the strap across the base of the foot. Position the strap about the junction of the ball and arch, so it's probably 2/3 the way up the foot. Hold the strap with the right hand as you use your left hand to kind of scoop out any flesh of the belly away from that left hip, left thigh, and hinge forward into your hand. So you've got a hinging forward here with the belly out of the way, and you can start to walk your hands, plural, down the strap. Toes curled back. So yes, we're getting the hamstring open again, but also that inner left thigh. Grab hold of the strap with the left hand, and have the right hand reach down towards your toes and then come back a little bit, so you're pulsing here. Feeling that pulsing action, noticing where you feel that, perhaps in the low right back, the hamstring. The next time you bring that right hand forward, hold it forward, grabbing the strap or the toes. So that right hand is a little further extended than the left. Giving that little twist into the deep, low, right side of the back and the hips. If you like, you can let the head droop down towards the knee here. Keep the shoulders relaxed, avoid straining. Five more breaths. Now use the right hand to come back to push off the left quad to slowly lift you up. Take your time, take your time. And once again, let yourself marinate in the sensations you feel. Switch legs. Extend the right out to the right. Tuck that left foot in. Toes curled back. Strap up. Keep the pelvis tilted forward on your seat, adjust that if you need to. And then you can start a little dynamic pulling against the strap. Feel that in the hamstring once again on that right side. Until you find your position forward that feels good. Not too much, not too little. Deep rhythmic breathing through the nose. Relax shoulders. Right hand holds the strap. The left hand is going to do a little bit of reaching out towards the toes here. So left hand goes beyond the right, reaches and comes back. Just feeling out that twisting motion in the left low back this time. Find the position for that left hand, whether it's on the strap or the toes of the foot, and hold. Maybe take a few head nods here, just to relax the neck and the head. And if you want to hold the head down, just let it droop, dangle. Come back to your breath. Five more breaths here. On the next inhale, walk that left hand back, push against the thigh to slowly raise the torso. Relax into this upright position and relax the shoulders. And feel the body's sensations. And when you're ready, start to make your way down onto your back into TP pose. Take your time. You might use your towel or blanket under the head. And we'll check in what's happening with the back now after all that forward bending. So knees are together and feet are apart. Arms are 45 degrees, palms face up. Shoulders away from the neck. So TP is a helpful transition from forward bends just to give the low back time to traction out in a more gentle way. So it's a great intermediary between forward bends and back bends. Let the breath be a little more dynamic here, a little more muscular. Particularly on the exhale. As you exhale, draw the navel back towards the spine so you feel the low back imprinting, pushing into the mat. You can almost feel the tailbone trying to tuck. As you inhale, simply relax. Let the belly expand, let the low back arch naturally with the breath. Try to keep the knees connected throughout the breath. Exhale. Press down, low back, pull the navel in. Use the abdominal muscles to lengthen the low back. Tuck the tailbone. Relax completely as you inhale. Belly expands, low back arches. And exhale through the mouth, through pursed lips. Try to make the exhale as long as you can. Squeeze the buttocks at the bottom of the exhale. Relax on the inhale. And continue. Exhaling through the mouth, through pursed lips. Squeeze empty. Prolong the exhale. Relax on the inhale. Let the inhale be a natural rebound. Not forcing the inhale, but adding muscular tension to the exhale. And relax the breath, relax the shoulders. Bring the knees apart and cross the right ankle over the left knee. Figure 4. Pick the left foot up and grab hold of that left, what do we got? We got grab hold of that right leg by the knee and the foot and squeeze it into your ribs. And try to keep the left knee pushing against your ankle. Drop the left foot to the ground. Keep the figure 4 as you bring your arms out 90 degrees, palms up. And roll onto your left hip until the right foot comes onto the ground. Reach the right arm over the head. Bring the right arm back. Turn the head to the neutral position. Inhale, lift the figure four back up and push your right knee to lock over the left knee, floppy shin. Stop the flop. Clasp both hands behind the head. Take a deep breath in and exhale, lift the head off the ground. Support the head with the hands the whole time as you wrap the forearms around the skull and squeeze the skull, and then slowly pull the back of the skull away, upwards. Just lengthen the neck. And if you can, pick up both knees and bring them in towards the elbows. Keep in this crunched position as your hands reach down to grab your feet. So the left hand's grabbing the right foot. Right hand's grabbing the left foot. If you cannot reach the left foot, put a strap around it and hold the strap. Keep holding as you lay the head down. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. You might even be lucky here and get a shoulder neck stretch. On the next breath, keep the knees locked as you return the left foot to the mat. Bring the hands out 90 degrees and roll onto your left hip once again with knees crossed. Left hip. There you go. If it's available to you, turn the head to the right. Inhale the head to neutral. Bring the knees up. Straighten the lower back. Uncross the legs and straighten the legs and rest. Bend both knees, and this time cross the left ankle over the right knee. Figure four. Pick that right foot up and grab that left leg and squeeze it in. Return the right foot to the ground, keep the figure 4, and bring the hands out 90 degrees. And roll onto the right hip until the left foot rests on the ground. Reach the left arm over the head. Bring the left arm back, head to neutral, roll back onto your back, keep the figure 4, and then push left knee over right knee, floppy shin. Clasp the hands behind the head. Stop the flop. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift the head up and hold the crunch. Wrap the arms around the skull and traction out the back of the neck. Pick up the knees, bring the knees towards the elbows. Hold the crunch and reach down for your feet. Secure the feet with the hands or a strap and then lay the head down and hold. Relax the shoulders. Now release the hands, bringing the right foot to the ground. Keep the knees locked. Hands out 90 degrees and roll onto your right hip this time. For those who'd like to, turn the head to the left. Relax the breath. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe in more deeply without speeding up. Inhale the head to neutral. Pick the knees up and straighten the back. Uncross the legs. Come into Shavasana. Let your body assume the position of a corpse, an unconsciousness, like you fainted and fallen into this spot without any resistance. Keep reminding yourself that Shavasana is happening to you. There's nothing you can do about this pose. It's as if you've fallen unconscious onto the ground. Not a scrap of tension. If there is tension anywhere, see if you can support it with a cushion or a bolster or a towel. Remain in Shavasana as long as you want or need. When you're ready to transition, spread your toes as wide as you can. And turn the head gently from side to side. Reach out through the arms. And when you're ready, transition to a seated position, taking your time. And notice how you feel at the end of practice. Notice how you're breathing. And thank you for joining me today. Namaste.